I've lived in Cedar Hollow for over 2 decades. Quiet town, good folks. Just enough excitement to keep the job interesting, but not so much that you dread your work week. I've been the county sheriff here for 6 years, and before that, I was a deputy. Most people know me, at least the people who matter. But every now and then, someone new shows up thinking they're the main character. That's how I met Karen. She moved into the neighborhood about 3 months before everything went down. She bought a fancy 2-story home on Pine Ridge Lane, one of those places with HOA rules longer than a tax form. I live a couple blocks down, where the rules are looser, and folks let you grow what you want as long as it doesn't block the D road or attract snakes. Now, I've always had a thing for gardening. My dad grew tomatoes, and I took it further. I've got raised beds of herbs, patches of wildflowers for the bees, and even some vertical garden structures that my daughter helped me build. It's not a jungle and it's tidy, thriving, and loved. But apparently, Karen hated it. It started with notes, folded paper taped to my mailbox, all unsigned. This is not a farm. This is a neighborhood. Your garden is lowering property values. Report filed. Expect consequences. I laughed them off at first. My wife, Melissa, rolled her eyes and told me not to let it get under my skin. Some people can't stand seeing others enjoy themselves, she said. She's smart like that. I suspected it was Karen. She'd already confronted my neighbor, Joe, for parking his RV in his own driveway. Claimed it was obstructing her view. Never mind, it wasn't even visible from her house. Things escalated about a week later. It was a Saturday morning. I was out pruning the basil when I heard a car pull up. A black sedan, unmarked. 2 men stepped out, both wearing uniforms that looked like a mashup of surplus store gear and community theater costumes. No badges, just little laminated cards hanging from their necks. One of them approached me, stiff as a board. "Are you the property owner?" I nodded. "Yes, sir, Sheriff Clay Hartwell." He blinked. "Sheriff?" "That's right, County Sheriff. You're on my property." There was a long pause before he awkwardly cleared his throat. "We're here on behalf of the Neighborhood Compliance Task Force. You are in violation of Municipal Code, 14-something regarding unauthorized agricultural development." I stared at him for a second. Then I said, "There's no such task force." He shifted uncomfortably. His partner, a younger guy with mirrored sunglasses, looked like he was regretting everything. "Mind showing me your credentials?" I asked. He hesitated. "They're digital." "Funny," I said, pulling out my phone. "So's the county database." I took a quick photo of them. That's when they started backing off. "Ma'am down the road filed a formal complaint," the older one mumbled. "Said she had power of attorney for the block. We were just following up." "You? Mean Karen?" He didn't answer. "Don't leave town," I said. They did anyway. By Monday morning, I'd launched an informal investigation. I didn't need to file paperwork just yet. I know how to keep things quiet. A little questioning around town told me what I needed to know. The 2 impersonators? Not from any agency. One of them, Gary Benson, had a minor record for impersonating a firefighter back in 2017. The younger one, Miguel Reyes, had done some freelance security gigs but had 0 legal authority. They'd both been hired for cash, paid by a woman, named, you guessed it, Karen. Apparently, she'd told them I was a squatter, claimed the property was unregistered and the owner, me, had been illegally farming county land. Even offered them a bonus if they could remove the eyesore by end of weekend. To their credit, they realized halfway through that something wasn't right. Miguel later confessed to one of my deputies that he had a bad feeling the minute I introduced myself. "You didn't look like a guy who gets pushed around," he said. No kidding. I decided to pay Karen a visit. Officially this time, badge, cruiser, and all. She answered the door wearing a robe and sunglasses, holding a cappuccino like she was the queen of HOA. "Can I help you?" "Yes, ma'am," I said. "Mind if I come in?" She hesitated but eventually stepped aside. Her living room looked like a catalog. Perfectly arranged books she hadn't read, fake plants, and a Himalayan salt lamp that still had the tag on it. "I understand you've taken an interest in my garden," I said. Her face twitched. "I'm invested in preserving property standards. Your farm is not up to code." "There is no code that prohibits home gardening within zoning regulations," I replied, "and I happen to enforce those regulations." She didn't blink. "So you're above the law?" "No, ma'am, I am the law." I handed her a printed photo of Gary and Miguel. "These men were hired by you. They attempted to detain a citizen under false pretenses. That's a felony. I'd like a statement from you." Her cool slipped just a bit. "I never told them to impersonate anyone. But you did tell them to get rid of me. They misunderstood. I'll be letting the county prosecutor sort that out." She folded her arms. "You wouldn't press charges, not over a garden. You'd be surprised what I'll press charges over. Justice and tomatoes." Karen was arrested later that week. The prosecutor filed charges for conspiracy to commit impersonation of law enforcement, attempted harassment, and misuse of private security without proper licensing. The court gave her probation, a heavy fine, and 100 hours of community service. Where did she serve those hours? At the Cedar Hollow Community Garden. She didn't talk much those first few weeks. Wore sunglasses and gloves like the dirt might crawl up her sleeves and ruin her manicure. But something changed, slowly. By the third week, I caught her helping. A little boy plant sunflowers. She didn't smile exactly, but she didn't scowl either. One day she walked past me and muttered, "Your tomatoes aren't bad." I nodded. "They win ribbons at the county fair." We haven't spoken much since. She stays in her lane. I stay in mine. But her yard? It's got a neat little herb patch now. No one ever admits they've changed. But sometimes the soil does the talking for them. Sometimes the people who make the most noise know the least about who they're messing with. And sometimes all it takes is a tomato to turn things around. But impersonating a cop, that's never going to end well. Especially when the gardener you're targeting is the sheriff.